Hi, so I finished with all my studies, so it's time to start making some videos again. So hi to Carl and Mark and Tasha and everyone. I see Carl's making some merchandise. I think that's a really great idea. He's busy organising demos, so keeping this current. I see some people are still making videos, like Jabe is making a lot of videos regularly, which is really great. So it stays current. And this is a case that the Lucy Letby is just developing all the time. So there are often updates about this. So that's a good thing. So I guess what I want to discuss is how much of this is Lucy Letby getting accidentally caught up in the system, how much of this is her deliberately being put away, and how could you tell the difference, in cases. I want to start with Andy Malkinson. He was recently acquitted after something like 17 years for a crime he absolutely did not commit. I'd never heard of him until he got acquitted, and then it was in the news. And I suspect that's the same for everybody, unless it was people in his immediate community. And what had happened here was he was incorrectly identified in a lineup, and then the system started rolling and took over, and obviously the police were probably keen to make a conviction. I think this was a case of mistakes were made, unacceptable mistakes, but I don't think someone was trying to deliberately, get him had up on a false charge. And it's, the fact that no one had really heard of this case until it has just come up, that's what makes me think that was possibly the case. And very few people seem to have been involved in it either. There was him, there was the victim, and no one else really seems to have been involved. And on the subject of acquittals and false, after being falsely or wrongly imprisoned, there was a video out, I can't remember who made it, but it was about David Davis giving his latest update on the Lucy Letby case, and he was talking about the justice system and how the appeals system is basically not fit for service, or not fit for purpose, sorry, because once you're caught up in it, you're there. It moves so slowly. The bar for getting released or having your case heard even is ridiculously high. It's got to be completely new evidence. You can't say that someone lied in court, or you can't say evidence wasn't presented in court. It has to be completely new evidence, and that's got to be a really impossible bar for some cases. So yeah, I'd like to see if that moves forward, the law can get changed so that this doesn't happen for other people. So okay, the next case I want to think about is Roy Meadows, and I think most of you will have heard of him. He was an infamous paediatrician who put away, he acted as an expert witness in court cases, and he had this so-called expertise in Munchausen's syndrome by proxy, and because of him a lot of women got put away. So Sally Clark was the famous one. So what happened with all of these women is their children, and they were infants, babies, they died unexpectedly, and it was, I think it was 2 or 3 children in each case, and this particular paediatrician, he had determined that, okay, it can happen once, it could happen twice, but if it does, it's suspicious. If it happens 3 times, it's most definitely murder. So as a result of this trend, because it became a bit of a trend, an awful lot of women got put away for murdering their children, and you know, this one individual, he gave testimony, expert testimony at all of these cases, or most of them, I think. So Sally Clark was the famous one. Tripti Patel, Angela Canning, and Donna, I'll just check what her name was. Where are we? Okay, I can't find the lady's name, but it was Donna somebody. So, and in addition to this, there were several other cases that he gave expert evidence for, I think, and the mothers went to prison. So there was this whole spate of them in the very late 90s and the early 2000s. And how no one ever picked up that this man was present at all of them, I've got no idea. And I think what had happened here was you had someone who became, I know, was he probably a senior consultant or something, but he was a leading paediatrician. He wrote books, he wrote papers, and he really started this Munchausen's trend. And for so many women all to be put away basically by one man, I don't think he was going after them personally, but he was going after his own interest. I do believe that. You know, he had a Munchausen's bee in his bonnet, and it seemed to be driving him. And in the Wikipedia, apparently his wife, or one of his ex-wives, said, well, he was a bit of a misogynist and he had an obsession with Munchausen's. So yeah, there's something a bit wrong with him. But that there were many cases, and there was one common denominator, which that being Roy Meadow. That kind of speaks to there was an intention in this. Now, when we come to Lucy Letby, this is just so complicated because so many people seem to be involved as common denominators here. And this makes me think, well, this can't be an accident. This cannot be someone just accidentally getting caught up in the system. So I did see a video, I think it was about a month back, and I'm sorry, but I'm never going to find this video again because I can't think how I'd search for it. It might have been Stuart Gillam, I'm not sure, but someone was talking about Dr. Breary. Apparently he had worked at the Liverpool Women's Hospital before he came to the Countess of Chester. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do know that what was said in the video was that he had arranged for babies to be sent from there to the Countess of Chester, and there was something to do with, I don't know, getting grants or getting upgradings for the hospital, something along those lines, okay? And I believe this happened shortly before baby A. Also, there was this paper on air embolism sitting on Dr. Jerram's desk, also shortly before baby A. And the way people were involved, I mean, Lucy Letby was being referred to as Dr. Death, Nurse Death in the corridor, by the junior doctors. So somebody started that. I mean, that had to have started with one or two individuals, and then there was a real push to get the police involved. We're coming up to 2017 now, you know, to get her in custody. So this, you know, to say that she was scapegoated or stitched up, I think this was deliberate because of there were too many events that like lined up in that way, like the senior paediatricians were making paper trails, were making certain decisions, were making reports about or you know, the infamous chart of who was on duty. There was too much of that being produced and going on. So this makes me think this was a deliberate attempt to get her put away, you know, practically from the get-go. So, and I don't know why. I mean, could she have stumbled on something inadvertently? I don't know, but I don't think she innocently got caught up and chewed up in, you know, the system unintentionally, like I think Andy Melkinson may have done. So yeah, that is basically my thought for the day. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video.